Hello. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to Frontlines for WWG1WGA.LOVE, where we go one, we go all.love. That's the website where we're lining up all of the lines in the front. No, we're creating the front lines on where we should look to figure out what's happening in the war against the cabal, the deep state, the Illuminati, all of those out there that have been conspiring in the shadows for eons to subjugate the whole world and put them under the people into the category of chattel. So we've led up to Dr. Dave Janda's website making a new announcement for today, Friday, and he has gone on and put out that website. Now, I was anticipating a little bit something else that may have been coming out more along the lines of something that, along the lines of maybe their arrest starting or something else, some new information. And it wasn't quite what I expected. What it is, it's good information. He's doing an interview with the two individuals that had brought the evidence together and got that evidence to Trump about not just the hammer, but it's really what led up to, this all goes back to the DNC server being hacked. So the evidence of the hack not being hacked by Russia, but it's more of a leak. It is an internal issue for the DNC. Someone in the DNC grabbed the information and sent it to Julian Assange. So that's what the information is all about. And this is really something that you have to understand, that since it wasn't a hack by Russia, what was all the information about Russia being involved in interfering in elections all about? Well, if it wasn't them hacking the DNC server, and all the Russians really did was have some Facebook ads for $180,000 worth that some group in Facebook was hired to basically create, advertising campaign, as much as you want to think it is. So was it Russia that was really involved in hacking the elections? No. Well, not to the extent that we've been made out. And the other information that's coming out from this whole week was about how it was a big lie. So Hannity, has been putting that information out there, how it was really just a lie, that there was no Russian collusion. The whole document put together is a lie. Well, the basis of it is a lie. That's what Dr. David Janda is been putting out there, is that the basis of this whole Russian collusion, that Trump was colluding, based upon the information that Russia was hacking the DNC server, which is a lie. And that Seth Rich was the one that actually did download that information. So it wasn't hacked, it was acquired information by a DNC insider and fed to Julian Assange to get out the information about Democrat Russian collusion with Russia, Uranium One. So, and other things. The email scandal and everything else that came, and it's all tied back to this. But you have to look at why was this created? Why was this, what did they do? They had to do damage control. Seth Rich grabbed the information. Seth Rich is dead. And we can all make our conclusions as to why he's dead. Was he Arkancided? Was he killed for doing this? So, what happened to Julian Assange? He's been tied up in all of this WikiLeaks scandal, and now he has this data, and now he's been taken out of the Ecuadorian embassy in England and moved into prison. Is it for protection? Apparently, that's what we're being told. Qanon has been saying that they have the servers from. I'm sorry. He was saying they have the source secured. So everyone assuming that was Julian Assange being secured. But what did it actually mean? A lot of times the general thinking about something, or the Indian Trail that they basically set up so that we can follow down that line, has a dual meaning, or it's actually meant to send us on one track to get us to dig in information. But there's really some other something else behind that. So this is all coming about right now. This is the Great Awakening. This is not all of the Great Awakening, but this is the process of the awakening. The Great Awakening is going to require a steady diet of red pills to get everyone up to speed on what's actually been going on. The horrific aspect of what the government has become, the width and depth of that government that is not about American government. It's about international governance over all of the countries by an apparatus. We can see it more clearly in the EU, European Union, where the bureaucracy really just had say over what happened to those people in those individual countries, to where you have Angela Merkel basically saying, well, we have to give up sovereignty. We don't have to give up we have to give up our country. It's not the thing anymore to have a country. You know, we're all here together. So these experiments that they put out there to get people to under one bureaucracy. It's not under a country. It's under unelected bureaucrats giving and dictating. Now the thing is that this has already been the case. That the shadow government, the ones behind the monarchies and behind the monarchies, that have basically set up this system. And the monarchies were mostly taken out of the picture in the 60s. But they're the ones that actually had all the power. Just go back hundreds of years and say, these monarchies did not just, stop ruling. What they did was they allowed for this facade of a government to come out in front. It doesn't matter whether it's in America. It doesn't matter if it's in the EU. It doesn't matter if it's in Russia, or it doesn't matter if it's in China. This has been taking place for a long time. In Russia, they have the czars, right? Royal families, bloodline, Romanov. They had in China the different Chinese dynasties. And my understanding is there's about 5 royal families there, and 2 are the most dominant, but it doesn't really matter. The Indian Maharajas, the South Pacific Asian nations, all royalty, all had their Raj, Maharaja. They all had their Raja. They all had their monarchies. All had their kings. Throughout the Philippines, every little village has a king. So the Datu. Throughout the different regions across the world, if you go into the tribal regions, there's a chief. It's the king. So the system of monarchy is worldwide. The illusion that we've been presented of the democracies, the republics, all these, from behind the scenes, there was always the power structure. But what we're really talking about here is the corruption of that power structure. We have 2 ways to really look at this. From the standpoint of the people that wanted to have good things happening in these monarchies, the plan of the experts brought about by the enlightened ones. Now, again, they had the best intentions for the people to be ruled by the bloodline families. The good intentions of good things happening for the people, to bring abundance, to bring stability, to stop all of the territorial wars that basically caused all of these problems. So they wanted to stop the wars, but the money system created wars because they made money from it. So when the monarchs, the kings and all of this of these families were removed from power, they were removed by the bankers, the industrialists, the corporate sides, the cabal. Now they adopted the Illuminati name, right, and used it as a group, but it's not the same Masonic group. This illuminated ones were, it was more of a spiritual group that happened out of let's say the the Asian nations. Keep in mind, we go back to King Solomon and and the Queen of Sheba, Queen of Sheba coming from the Philippines. So there's a great untold story there. Actually, I have friends of mine that want to make that film, right? And they're working towards that. They have some goals of who's their director and who's going to be in it. But anyway, we'll see how that unfolds. But this illuminated plan meant for them to do good things around the world for a good spiritual outcome. But this corruption that has come in the form of Baal worship, satanic systems, that has been infiltrated throughout the apparatus of government, the deep state, where they use the powers of the dark forces, where they have the path of the dark side, where if you go down this line, you get more power. The more down the road of the dark side you go, the more power you get. So even if you have, these compartmentalized systems throughout the whole system, you can't see that it's that the people that have risen to the top are the ones in this dark force, for the most part. I'm sure there's exceptions that were made and they were brought in for, there's, power reasons, whatever that was. But this unseen group of people, you want to say that's the senior executive services in the American government, but these people transcend any geographic border. They go and they also have seats in boards of directors across. There's if you look at Karen Hoodies and how she reports on the network of global control, how all these corporations have interlocking directorship. Well, these are the same people in the senior executive service. They sit on boards of directors also of these corporations. And and beyond this group, there are a few monarchies that have some power in there, but most of the monarchies that were sidelined. All of the assets that they put up for the system that were put into trust were tied up. Now there was agreements, that to allow this to happen, and they built the whole world financial system. And that's why Fiji's waiting for money to come into the country. I know the Philippines doesn't get any money coming in from the outside. There's the system was literally taken over by this cabal of, say, the bankers outside of the monarchies. Yes, there were structures and the Committee of 300 and all of this other stuff, but the reality is the system was taken over. Now, since even though the agreements were ended and that those trusts containing the assets, sitting there with assets behind, behind, there is no power. Now, I don't know if 100% of every asset is in the hands of the trust. I do not, of the Manna World Holding Trust and under Kim's control. Is it 80% of everything? Is it 99%? Is it 100%? There's new gold being coming out. Does it all get onto the platform and all get sent to the trust still? I don't know. But I've had dealings with the ones that were the royalties, whether it was the King of Borneo, whether it was the how to say this, through other people, there was some royals trying to have access to their accounts. They're also known as collateral accounts. and to bring them off of the back screens, to get behind the mirage, get behind the gray screens, to get to the where the actual asset is, and then to bring it in forward and get cash from it, but they haven't been able to do it because that system is controlled by the deep state, by the cabal. But you want to say it's just the Rothschilds? Okay, we can just label it the Rothschilds. But the system itself has been controlled by these people, and they have all the keys. Now, Kim has been working towards solving that problem, all right, and now working with the U.S. military, but they still prevent things from happening. They seize control, like I said, in the 60s. There's so many layers to this and levels. It's very difficult even for Kim to maneuver and get to a position where she can make things happen. But I'm sure she's doing her best to make it happen. And you have but you see on the world stage the stuff that's been said about. So I was saying that Attorney General Barr is ready to declassify a bunch of stuff. We're going to see arrests. That's going to all come down. And the positioning to route out this deep state has all been taking place, and it's going to start. And the extraction of every little tentacle and every little tendril and every little power device or person that they have in place to give them control is going to be starting to unravel. They're losing their positions around the world, but it's not as though they're going to give up. So, yeah, I think it takes patience. I don't know when Kim is going to be successful. I would say, if we see what's happening on the world stage, where Trump has seized enough power away from them, and they're being prosecuted and sent, and then the world starts to reorganize itself, we're going to see the money flow. I think that's what it's going to take. But again, part of what we need to do is have this gray awakening. So Dave Janda, he's on the front lines. He has made these contacts that he has come for, and they have an interview. We'll watch a little bit of it. I'm going to encourage everyone to go to his channel and participate with him, subscribe to his channel, and pass out his link, all right, and get that information out there. But bringing forth this kind of information of what they did, how this all started, is what this is all about. We have to get through these small steps to get to that bigger picture. All right, let's go ahead and listen to Dr. Dave Janda, and in a few minutes in here of the interview, and then we'll go back. And, if you're ready to come on, please. I posted a link in the wwg1wga.love Telegram group. Please, if you have some questions, you want to participate in any way, enter right there.
Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform. Today we have a special edition of Operation Freedom Briefings. As you know, we have the subscription site at DaveJanda.com, and we have a show called the Insider Insight Show. I recently had two friends of mine as the guests, Bill Binney and Kurt Wavy. They are legends in the world of the National Security Agency and in surveillance platforms. They became whistleblowers in 2001, and the whistle they blew very loudly at the time, and still does to this day, that NSA platforms were being illegally used to monitor American citizens, phone calls, emails, internet activities, financial transactions. And they paid a heavy price for their honesty. Well, they speak about that in this interview. but they also address several other issues, and this is why I was asked to make this subscription platform presentation available to the general public because of the national security issues that are discussed that are of importance to everyone. There are several take-home points out of what Bill and Kirk are going to present in this interview. One is that the whole Russian hack narrative was in fact as Bill put it, quote, lie. It wasn't a hack. It was a downloaded event. And then the information transferred to Julian Assange for publication on the WikiLeaks platform. Two, there is talk that, well, there's all this illegal activity occurring on the National Security Agency platforms. True, no doubt about that. No argument from here. As I said, Bill and Kirk have been screaming from the mountaintop for 18 years about that. But there's also a deeper, more sinister side to the surveillance platforms, and that is the parallel platforms that don't have the same reporting systems associated with them. It occurs internally within the NSA platform. It's been said by many people, not just a few, many people, that these parallel platforms don't exist, that they're fraud, that this is all conspiracy theory. Well, that's what the deep state would like you to think, that it's conspiracy theory, that parallel platforms don't exist. See, the benefit of the parallel platforms, Bill and Kirk will point out, is that the internal reporting system that's in the NSA platform is not in these parallel platforms, so that these government creatures, criminals, can do tremendous amount of deep surveillance, phone calls, emails, internet activities, financial transactions to be used for bribery, for blackmail, for you name it. And there's no reporting systems within those parallel systems. Bill and Kirk come forward and they talk about how these parallel platforms can be used for good, but they can also be used for illegal activity, illegal surveillance. They address that. Prior to Bill and Kirk coming out and speaking about it, in this interview, they also speak about how they, as private contractors, had worked in parallel platform structures. Up until them coming forward, there was only one person who had come forward and has been a lightning rod for the issue and has been destroyed for coming forward and speaking about it. It's the guy by the name of Dennis Montgomery. He's been characterized many different ways. People out there saying he's a drunk, he's an alcoholic, he's a gambler, he's bankrupt. Now, Dennis Montgomery actually, through sources, been in touch with him, and he says, well, one of my partners gambled a fair amount. I didn't get into financial troubles gambling. I gambled years. Usually the times I went to a casino with my family, because when I worked for the CIA, they told me the safest place for me and my family to be because of the 24-hour surveillance with the camera systems was in a casino. I've heard that from other people as well, not just in South Carolina. He said I did file bankruptcy once, not because of gambling, because I had racked up such high legal bills having to deal with the government. Plus, he said they never paid me for my intellectual property. It starved me out. As far as drinking, he said, I have some to drink on my birthday. Maybe, total, I believe he told me was 15 times. But not drunk. This is what they try to do. They try to dirty up your reputation, soil you, so that you not believe that you're not credible. This is exactly what they also tried to do to Bill Benny and Kirk Whiteley, dirty them up. Actually, after Kirk and Bill became whistleblowers in 2001, Robert Mueller, who was the director of the FBI, he had the FBI tear down their doors. At one point, Bill was coming out of the shower and came in contact with an FBI agent and had a gun to his head. What had Bill done? He just told the truth. That our government was using an NSA platform to illegally surveil me. See, when it all comes down to it, they try to dirty you up. Bill and Kurt take a look at the Dennis Montgomery information and what Dennis Montgomery has said and what others have said about him. They address that as well. I hope you find this interview of value, and I hope you'll network it. Because the more it gets networked, the sooner the deep state comes tumbling down. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Until next time, dream big.
Now, the interview is going to, start right now, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want to give you the introduction. I'll point out a few things from his monologue. So Dennis Montgomery invented and produced the hammer. It was for international surveillance. It was Obama, Clapper, and Brennan were the ones that basically changed it. There's also a parallel system, right? So that it was not going through all of the reporting processes. This adaptation that they created to surveil on everybody, including Trump, from 4 years prior to the election. So this system, again, he also said he never got paid. Right? They steal your intellectual property. Does a patent make any difference? No. National security, and you have no say, and it doesn't matter because they're going to steal it anyway, and they just starve you out. Control over the money, control over the legal system, control over the government. You have no rights. You're just chattel. It's the attitude that they have. So we're looking at a system that has been put in place for a very long time. And whatever the benevolence ideas that were there under the plan of the experts, under them creating a one world system, they failed with that because it was taken over by greed and taken over by all of this cabal. Now we can say it's the Khazarian mafia. We can say it's the bloodline families. We can say it's Marduk. We can say it's the Baal worshippers. It doesn't really matter what flavor they are. We know that what they're doing is evil. And it's the aspect of waking up to this is most important for people to know that that they're treating us just as a herd animal, and that they can break up us into smaller groups, take our rights to have family, to be together with our children, to remove them and to use them as commodities. This is, and to the extent that it really is there, that the mirage that's been put in front of us through the TV, through the newspapers, through all of these things that they've controlled for a long time. It wasn't just, say back in, I remember when Reagan, allowed for the conglomerates to form by them buying up all the smaller elements of the media. Now we have 6 groups. And that these systems that were put in place to control us, whatever their motivation was, they may have even thought they were, God's chosen people, because they were the ones in the position to do that, right? No matter what their religious beliefs, whatever it is, doesn't matter. What matters is that they went ahead and they formed this cabal. It's a Bilderberg group. It's Freemasons. Whatever secret societies, Skull and Bones, or whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is they built it. It's in front of us, and we just have to look at it and see what it's doing. No matter how bad it is, we have to look into it, see what it is, and then deal with it. We know what we want in our lives because this is the illusion that we're given. The American dream should be an American reality. It should be a world reality, really. But that's okay. For the rest of the world to choose what their dreams are, that's okay. Let them choose. But the concept of saying that what they presented to us, we just have to look at it and make it what is real by removing the really bad, evil elements from what is there, and then build something, because it's hard for those things to adapt. So we have to build our own, whether it is the media, build our own media. So this is part of it. Even if we have to end up being on another platform outside of YouTube, outside of any of the others that big media, big digital media, whatever that looks like, it doesn't matter. We just have to move in that direction. And then reality happens. We're reality generating machines. We're the ones that make it happen. And we're doing it. There's a lot of very good signs that these things are happening. I love just looking at what Trump is doing and where things are and how things have shifted. It's going to get very crazy here. He's coming back from Europe. We're going to see bars armed and ready to go. Everything is set. Table has been set, as Q has said. Just setting the table. It's ready now for the main course. Maybe it's an appetizer. But we're ready to start. We're ready to move on this. So I'm not going to go through the interview. I do suggest that you go and watch it. I will go ahead and take the link and put it down below. But it's easy to find. Just look for DaveJanda.com, and you'll find us. Or you go on YouTube and just Dave Janda, look for the latest one. Just posted 10 hours ago. So let's look into the chat room, see where we're at, and then we'll wait for 10:30. We'll be doing DANK Live with Stephen Rowe, also known as Tank. So let me go ahead and I'm going to line up the chat room, share my screen. Okay. So Robert is the first one in the room. Hello, Robert. Borax mixture plus, is that where we're starting here? Borax mixture plus pulse red above link. Oh, why am I not seeing that? I don't see what's above, Robert. I'm sorry. It doesn't let me see it. So I don't know what that is. Oh, you know what? If you gave a link, there is it may have been captured by the YouTube's they look for things that may be spam and they'll filter them out. So that's probably what that was. So sorry to miss that. I don't. No one else would have seen it as well. Okay. Multiple online sources said that you must simply mix 1/32 to 1/4 teaspoon of borax with a 1/4 gallon liter of water and sip that cocktail in small portions throughout the day. I don't know why do Why do we want to do this anyway? I'm gonna increase the size now. I like to put the first ones in just so I can't see them when we get larger screen. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, put the Q and then the question. You don't have to say question, just put the letter Q. Easier for me to see the letter Q, a big letter Q, than the word question, believe it or not. That's when I just scan through like that. Here we go again. It seems like we're missing a bunch here. It's always strange. I can't see the whole thing when we redo this. Okay. So I got into the middle of a conversation and I don't know where to take that. Happy birthday, Jenny. Okay, happy birthday, Jenny. Interesting with Tui's dialogue and Tank's interview. Yes. Where did this transcript come out with that? Question. Thomas mentioned that Kim and her group are seriously considering stepping back, disappearing. Then humanity learn for themselves just how much we the people need to grow up. Oh, really? Interesting. I did not know that. Well, I did not hear Thomas's latest show. I will go ahead and catch up with that. Jumped again. We'll ask Tank and on the Dank Live. Question. 2. See Robert's link. Switch the top chat to live chat in the chat box header. Drop down arrow. So where is the top chat to live chat in the chat box header? I can't see the header in this form. All right. Well, I'll go back out here and let's see. Oh, here's top chat. There we go. Well, thank you. You learn something new every day. There we go. Well, I went to the top. All right. It looks like I'm still not catching everything. Because it starts here. Laura, that was there to hear some words on the telephone. See, it looks like I'm still not catching everything. Okay. Oh yeah, a lot of stuff in there. Well, at least I know. Thank you very much. I think we'll start that next time around. I'll be looking at that. What is the difference between top chat and live chat? More about the top chat. Okay, try this. Look at the top chat in bold black letters. You will see top chat and arrows. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's what I just did. All right. Concerns and refer to Tank. I want to be sure that I'm accurate. Times and dates. Crucial concern. All right. Top chat claims to block spam. Possible. Yeah, I did know that. Anyway, I got it now. Well, I think that we're good. We've got about 40 minutes before the DANK Live. I will sign off now. Thank you all for joining. Again, please participate every way you can. Give a thumbs up, that 25 thumbs up, and 70 watching. So let's see where we go from here. And I will be back tomorrow. And please go to Dave Janda's video and watch it. It is enlightening. And we'll continue here tomorrow.